California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association. It opened in 1997, and it sits on top of a hill in West Los Angeles. The world-famous Getty Center includes the J. Paul Getty Museum, with permanent collections and changing exhibitions, and the Getty Research Institute, which contains the largest research library for art and architecture in the world. And talking about architecture, the center itself makes quite a statement. With its huge, beautiful buildings, its courtyards, fountains, and open public spaces. It's all so beautiful. And speaking of beauty, we went to the Getty specifically to visit a work of art that's big and beautiful and filled with color. A garden that's a fine example of California's gold. Okay, our tour begins. We are on top of the mountain. It's an absolutely beautiful day. We've hooked up with David Bumford, who is with the Getty Center. And David, we originally were coming up here to visit the museum. You have some amazing exhibits right now. But it's such a beautiful day, I kind of made a snap decision not to go inside the museum. I want to just have an outdoor experience up here, but that's okay when you come to the Getty Center, isn't it?
It is, because although we have fantastic things inside the museum, we have one of the great artworks of the world outside the museum, and that is our great garden here at the Getty.
All right, that was our setup. We had kind of planned to do this. We're going right over here because in the midst of all these beautiful buildings is this amazing garden.
And we call it the Central Garden, and it is actually an artwork in the Getty collection.
Now you mean technically?
Technically it has, every artwork in the Getty collection has a number, and this has a number and is actually what we call an accessioned artwork.
So it was originally designed, and look down here, Cameron, because you see the kids coming through the sidewalks there. It's all set up. It's a formal garden here. From the very beginning, this garden was designed to be a piece of art.
And it was designed by one of the great California artists, Robert Irwin. And when the Getty Center was being built, it was decided that this part of the grounds, what used to be a ravine going down the mountainside, would be an artwork designed by Robert Irwin, the great California artist.
Now, when most people come here, do they consciously know that they are visiting a piece of art, or do they think of it as just this beautiful garden and open space here?
Well, you can see the kids. They just love rolling down the grass, and they don't think of it as an artwork at all. It's a play area for them. But this is a place of pilgrimage from all over the world for garden specialists, for art enthusiasts, for contemporary art lovers, because they know it is from this great artist. They know it is a unique experience, and they know they're not going to see anything like it anywhere else in the world.
Well, there's a lot for us to see when we go down there. It all starts right over here. This is very interesting. The reason we're starting here is because this line bringing this water comes straight down here and goes into
over there and into the garden.
So this is where it all starts.
The whole thing begins right here and continues.
All right, that's where we're going right now. We're saying goodbye to David, and we're heading out into the garden, into the Central Garden, this amazing piece of art right here on top of the mountain. We're following the water. We have come down from the overlook where we started our tour. Here comes the water. It's in a little stream right here, and it comes around here to the actual garden itself. And look at this as you get up close to it. It takes your breath away. Its beauty is so overwhelming. And Jim, you're the gardener here. Actually, you have a fancier title than just the gardener, right?
Well, I have a fancy title. It's the Curatorial Advisor.
All right.
The gardener serves me much better.
You have heard people exclaim, I mean, this is such a positive, wonderful thing when you see it.
Well, gardens bring something out in people, you know. It's wonderful to be a sunny day, to be out with the plants, see the colors. You know, this is Bob Irwin's central garden. He looks at it first as a piece of sculpture in the form of a garden that aspires to be art.
Now, when we look down here, obviously he had heavy use of rock, of stones. This water meanders all the way down. You've got these trees. It's early spring, so they haven't leafed out yet, but I would imagine any time of the year is a good time of the year here at the garden.
Well, that's certainly my job, is to make it look good every day. I mean, people come from all over the world. There were some people here from New Zealand this morning, and it's got to look good today. This rock, this is from the California Gold Country right here.
So this is real rock?
This is real rock.
I was afraid that it was artificial rock.
Oh, no. All of the materials here are fabulous. There's teak below us, there's bronze railings, rock from the California Gold Country.
And I love this too. When I visit this garden, I love the juxtaposition of the garden to this magnificent architecture of the Getty Center.
Oh, you know, this is what Bob is playing off of. He has this grand architecture set on top of the mountain, and now he has to involve you in a different way. Rather than the outward-looking vistas, he's going to bring you down and look at something really close.
So you really get sucked into the garden, don't you?
We hope so. Well, there's no signs to say, hey, we're going to suck you in, but he wants you to walk through it, experience it, and find something new for yourself.
Well, we're getting ready to walk through it, experience it, and find something new for all of us to enjoy on this beautiful spring morning. Well, we didn't have to go very far down into the garden before we ran into somebody actually doing some work in the garden. Lynn, are you a gardener as well?
I'm a gardener on my own, but I'm the manager of grounds and gardens here.
Manager of grounds and gardens. What does that mean?
Well, in the case of this garden, it means that I help execute the plans that are put forth by the artist, Bob Irwin, and Mr. Duggan.
So do these gardens, how much maintenance and work does this take? And this fellow's been here a while. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah, Roberto has been here 37 years and is...
But wait a minute, this garden hadn't been here but 10 years.
Well, Roberto started over at the Getty Villa.
Ah.
So he's been here and knows gardening and is very, very expert. And he leads a crew of 7 folks that are directly assigned just to take care of this garden.
Wow.
Now that's just the garden part. Then we have another group of gentlemen that work in the trees above you. These are very, very sculptured.
Wow.
And very, very important to the garden in terms of light and how it moves through the garden.
Now, does he do the same thing every season? Does the garden change the same way every season?
No, it's very orchestrated. Every season is different, and from season to season we get to evolve some change.
Can I talk with him for a minute? Roberto, Huell, nice to meet you. You love working out here in the garden?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to love?
What's not to love?
This is the choice gardening job right here.
I think we all feel that way. I think we all feel that way, to have a place that we get to garden in that's truly art.
Yeah.
It is amazing, and it's a very different experience.
Now this is the first time, come here Cameron, let's just take a look right up here. This is the first time we've had an opportunity to look from the water up. But I think the idea is that there are no bad views in this garden.
No, there's no bad views here. It's the changing experience all the way. The stream itself, you start up at the top, lots of big rocks. Now the water is just starting to appear here. As you go farther down, the rocks disappear and more water appears. Even at each bridge, the sound of the water is different. There's little baffles underneath the rocks to make the water bounce around.
Now, is every single rock placed here exactly, I mean, these
Bob
aren't just...
placed every rock where it is. There was really theater watching him do it. They were lined up on the side of the stream, big cranes, and everyone, oh, let's put this one here. And then once they had them, they had to take them out and pin them because they have to be safe. So, I mean, amazing amount of work.
Just placing the rocks.
Just placing the rocks.
There are people to the left of us, there are people to the right of us. There are a lot of people visiting this garden. What are your figures for numbers of people coming through here every year?
Well, the last time that I looked, it was 10 million.
Wait a minute.
10 million. But that was a couple of years ago.
10 million people visit this garden.
Visit the Getty Center.
Yeah, but
and
it's impossible to come here and not visit the garden.
Of course. So that's an awful lot of people. There's 4 parts to this stream. The top part, plants are very low to the ground. The next part, they're a little taller. The third part, this is the third part down here, area 3. The plants are very tall. It's sort of an enveloping feel. Now,
so the stream gets smaller and the plants get larger.
Up to the third area, and then the last area is just a really bright, no holds barred, let's sock it to them, you know. Let's give them everything we got.
You get excited about this garden, don't you?
I like plants, I like this garden.
And you probably love what it does to the visitor because everybody is blown away when they're here.
Well, they have such a good time. You know, some people, they walk very quickly through it. They don't see much. They're not experiencing what Bob would like them to do. Some people, oh man, wow, look at this and look at that. And there's all these different levels of engagement that you're going to get people to do.
I like being able to stand on this bridge and look over at the people on the other bridge. You know, you kind of share this experience with other people.
A lot of people taking a lot of shots right here too.
Yeah.
It's very, very photographic. There's a lovely plant right down there. This is Geranium maturans. It's the largest of the true geraniums. Just starting to bloom right now. Look at the size of the flower cluster on that.
We're walking through the garden, and this is an interesting part of what you see when you come here too. There are no plants at all, just grass and steel cut at these amazing angles right through the earth.
This is corten steel. This coloring is it rusts a little bit and then it doesn't rust anymore. It's a very architectural thing that Bob uses a lot in a lot of projects, but especially here.
More gardeners hard at work over there. Part of your staff of 7 full-time gardeners.
They're here a lot.
And here's the first chance to see up close how people use the lawn. And that was one of the pleasant surprises when I visited this garden for the first time.
It's great to see the kids rolling down the grass. It's really a fun thing. And they'll have picnics out here and music and during the summer. It's really, really fun.
Okay, now we're in area 3 of the stream or of the garden?
Of the stream garden, because there's a bowl garden coming up too that has 4 areas in it.
Okay, so we're in the stream garden, and the stream, we started with the big boulders from Gold Country.
Exactly.
Now it's down to just almost like a trickle.
It's just a channel. He saw this channel effect in Japan one time and copied that and lined it with the California golden rock, again, the green chert. And so now the water is full in play. Up here the rocks are in play, down here the water's in play.
This is such a beautiful shot right here, looking at the color of these plants. It is a feast for the eyes just to stand here and look at this.
Well, we're looking down now at area 4 and all the colors are really bright. Lots of things going on, so a lot of activity right up ahead.
Well, let's cut down here. I love these pathways. You got the open grass on this side as well.
Yeah, right out here they'll set up music and during the summertime and have bands playing. A lot of fun for the people.
Wow. Do people at first kind of tentatively wonder whether they're allowed to go out on the grass or not?
You know, the first couple of years, nobody walked on the grass. It's like, oh, you can't do that. But nah, that's what grass is for, and you want them to use it.
Wow. Oh, wow. Look at this. Again, it's such a visual treat just looking through the garden at the open grass area with the kids out there playing. Then you come over here to the left and hear all the people coming through the garden. The beautiful building itself in the background. you are almost in sensory overload when you visit this place.
Well, the garden alone has over 350 to 400 different types of plants in it. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Wow.
And then, of course, the buildings, the blue sky, the vistas.
Howdy, how you doing? And there's one of the guys. Now see, he's in a wheelchair, and the fact that there's so many paths here, this was all done for people in wheelchairs.
Well, the thing is, I had sprained my ankle, and I didn't know if we were going to come. We looked online and saw that everything was handicap accessible here at the Getty Museum, and
it's been wonderful to us.
Yeah. So you're getting to see the garden, and you're getting to push.
Exactly. I hardly have to push at all. He's very capable.
Role reversal.
There you go.
Have a good day.
I love what you do, man.
Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of the garden, and it has a specific name to it.
Well, these are the Bougainvillea bowers, and they're, of course, filled with Bougainvillea. They're a little dormant right now, but just coming out of it. But boy, a couple months from now, they're just blazing in color.
Yeah, you've got 3 over here, and then we pan right over here. We've got 3 more over here. So they definitely make a statement.
They actually act as pegs to connect the stream garden to the bowl garden, which you're going to see shortly.
And look at the bowl over here.
And look at the surprise that we have.
Boy, does it make a statement. This is spectacular.
This is spectacular. The azaleas are really on today.
Now, is this is their prime?
This is their prime.
What's going on down there the rest of the year?
Oh, the azaleas are there all year round. Actually, the one with the red flowers during the year has dark foliage, so you'll get a contrast between the 2 outer colors just with the foliage color.
And what's the idea between the interplay between the water and the flowers?
Well, first of all, it's a maze. I think this is the only floating maze that's ever been created. And it's just wonderful, the water, the texture of the water. Of course, now the planters are waterproofed, and these are Kurumi azaleas. They prune really nicely and bloom quite well, as you can see, here in Southern California.
Let's get down right here and take a look at them, because this is absolutely mesmerizing, just standing here looking at this.
Well, you picked a good day, because they're really at their top form today, especially the red one. This is Hino Crimson, Apple Blossom, and Snow on our right over here.
But look at the way all these people just stand and look.
Oh, they've got to look. I mean, again, the stream above was a study of leaves. Now we enter the flower garden, and there's little, not big surprises, but there's some little surprises in there too.
So wait a minute, we haven't been in the flower garden until we got here.
Correct.
We've been in the tree and the stream garden.
Up in the stream, flower is just a bonus. There are some up there for sure, but it's not. The main thing is the leaves, is the study of leaves. Down here, no, we want to show you flowers now. So there's lots of annual color. Now we've just planted the spring garden, so it's not in full bloom yet, but it's still doing pretty good.
Now this is what's interesting about visiting this garden, this piece of art, because Lynn, it is so perfect. It looks so easy. Everything is so perfectly trimmed and manicured and perfectly aligned. But don't try this at home, right?
Well, there's pieces of it you should try at home, and there's been many successes here that are pieces that you could take home in your garden, but it's true. We have a tremendous attention to detail, and it has to do with getting things exactly right all the time for every visitor that comes.
Yeah.
Some of the detail is as simple as making sure the dirt is very cultivated so that it makes a great dark contrast.
So even the color of the dirt.
The color of the dirt is actually dictated by the artist. He has defined that we should have a very dark dirt.
Can you show me some dark dirt?
Well, if we move over here...
Let's walk over here, because this is interesting. It's also interesting that this garden changes a lot, doesn't it? From season to season, we would see different... It would have a different look to it.
Absolutely. Season to season, we have parts of it that emphasize winter, We have pieces that emphasize the early spring, late spring, and indeed we bring in a tremendous amount of material and actually take material out in winter. For example, the sticks, which maybe Jim covered with you.
The what?
The sticks. And these in winter, you don't see them out here, but in winter.
The sticks.
The sticks. They're colored, beautiful, deciduous trees and shrubs. And it's the color in those sticks, the actual sticks of the plant, that make the show. We bring those in winter when they're deciduous, when they're not in leaf.
Ah, to get some color.
It brings color, and it talks about season.
Now, wait a minute. Where is this dark dirt?
Well, let's look at it. It's right over here.
Oh, here's dark dirt. Come on over here.
The gentlemen have just cultivated this. You can see them working down and around. And they've cultivated this so that it has a rich, I think almost agricultural feel to it. And in much of the dirt, we've actually introduced black scoria so that it gives us this rich, rich color. Wow. So it looks fertile. And as you know, California soils are very mineral, so they don't necessarily have that color. Every piece of this is part of the definition from the artist. This is how he wants this to feel.
See, I've visited this garden many times. I've never noticed the dirt. I'm sorry. Well, but maybe I'm not supposed to consciously notice it.
You bring up a very good point. Much of what you sense as you move through the garden is really a perception, but it may not be right in the front. And yet, when you walk through the garden, your sense of is you're in someplace very different and, well, special.
Lynn was talking about the sticks that are here in the wintertime, and Jim has found a stick that's here in the wintertime. I thought she was talking about a stick, like a stick in the ground.
It's just the name that we use so we know what we're talking about. But here is a shrubby dogwood that, when it's leafless, has bright yellow stems. There's also one with bright red stems, and there's also another plant with bright orange stems.
So it makes a statement in the wintertime.
Just by being deciduous, by being leafless, it's the effect of winter. But now we have color, so it's like an annual. It's like a pansy or something.
Now here's the trumpet tree.
The angel's trumpets.
The angel's trumpets. And then we're walking down here because now we're getting into what these guys are doing. And Lynn, what are they actually doing right here? What are they? You're head of maintenance here. What are they doing?
Well, this is part of the detailing that makes this garden so very special. And they're working to cultivate up the earth. So you see the contrast where he's cultivated and where it's not cultivated, and how much more vibrant the color is.
Turning the earth.
Turning the earth. Exactly so.
And do they get bothered all the time with people asking them questions?
These gentlemen are able to answer so many questions, and yes, the guests are excited about the garden and they ask questions, and the guys really know their work, so they're able to answer them.
It's so easy to concentrate on the big picture when you come here to the garden, but Jim has now brought us to, you're zeroing in on individual plants, because that's part of this experience as well. The standing here and looking just at individual blossoms, individual plants.
Well, this is one of the final keys to Bob's art piece, is you get all the way down into the bowl, away from those big buildings, and here even it's raised up. Here's this beautiful plant just staring you in the face. And these are onions, flowering onions. This is Allium schubertii. I call them exploding stars.
Flowering onions?
Flowering onions.
Now, do hardcore plant people just stop here and...
Oh, drool. They drool when they get over here.
Because you don't usually see this, or is it the context of where it's placed, or...
It is unfortunate you don't see this growing a lot in Southern California, but you should. You should get these bulbs and put them in the ground.
We caught her. She's playing hooky today.
Yes, I am.
Spring fever. You just had to come to the garden, didn't you?
I've lived in LA my whole life, and I've never been to the Getty, so I woke up today and said, I'm going. That's it.
And was it worth playing hooky?
Yes, I will be coming back and bringing all of my friends who have not been here. It's amazing.
Because how do you even describe this to people?
It's breathtaking, and I've worked at different architectural and design companies, and shame on me for not coming, because it's amazing.
This garden is stunning.
Now, what do you mean this garden is stunning?
It's the textures, it's the colors. You look at people's faces and they're all smiling as they walk through here.
See, I think the energy is important to this garden as well.
It is. The water, so the sounds, the The smells, except for the society garlic.
Oh.
Really bad.
Well, that's part of nature as well.
It is, absolutely.
You got to have the roses, you got to have the garlic.
Absolutely.
It's all part of the experience.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we're ending up this amazing day in this spectacular place. And first, I'd like to thank you all for the tour. This exceeds our wildest expectations. The weather has cooperated. The flowers are blooming. Everybody's happy. There's such a great energy here. This garden has been here since the Getty Center opened. Has it surpassed what people thought it was going to be in relationship to the museum, to the formal exhibits and all of that sort of thing?
Well, you know, Bob always was going to create a good piece of sculpture, that the garden itself was going to be as good as it is. I don't think anybody thought that, but you just walk through it. It's pretty nice.
So it's really kind of been a surprise, hasn't it?
It's been a surprise, a wonderful surprise, though. A growing, wonderful surprise.
What do you think it is that has so captivated people about this place and made it so special?
I think the garden really does one of the things that Bob Irwin wanted it to do, and that is to light up people's perception. When you come into this garden, you see things in a very new way. And it's vibrant, and it's changing, and it's electric. And for those reasons, I think people keep coming back.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's good for the eyes, it's good for the heart, and it's good for the soul. This is an absolutely beautiful place, a very special place. It's called the Central Garden here at the Getty Center, and this garden and all it contains is a fine example of California's gold. We've had an absolutely wonderful day here. Okay, a happy group of kids. Did everybody have fun here today?
Yeah!
Oh boy, they did. Now, how old are these kids?
6, 5 and 6.
And how hard is it to hold their attention in a garden?
We have a bag of tricks.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we do.
But the garden itself probably captivates them too.
Oh, yes, they love the plants, the fire plants.
The water, the rocks.
Waterfalls, the trees.
And have they been able to roll on the grass yet?
Well, we didn't know if we were allowed, are we?
Yes, you're allowed.
Okay.
Kids, do you all want to roll on the grass? Yeah! Okay, here's the hill. Go for it, kids. There they go, teacher. You better keep an eye on these kids. There they go. Come on down. Roll down the hill. Oh, my gosh, they're going all the... Here's some right here. Oh, my... Oh, look. Now, that may be the high point of their trip.
I know, I think so.
Wow, you got some rollers here.
Awesome. Awesome.
See, that's all it takes is just a nice grassy hill and a beautiful spring day and kids rolling in the garden. Oh, wow. Now that was a lot of fun. What a beautiful garden. It's well worth a visit. And if you'd like to go on this particular adventure again or share it with family or friends, of course it's available on video cassette and DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727 and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.